Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hey, Pixie. We made it. We are at the 30-day mark. While there is no destination in life, right? It's an endless journey. There are markers on the path, there are thresholds, and we have reached one. We're at the 30-day mark, and then we just did the computer just did the weird thing where it's restarting my live stream again. So here I am again. We're on day 30, the final day of what the WTF. And here we are. Gosh, we made it. I can't believe that it's already been 30 days. I can't believe that it's only been 30 days. Sometimes it feels like more, sometimes it feels like less. But, what is time? And I'm just really, really happy to have had this journey with all of you, to have made made it across this finish line with you. Whatever it is that we did it. And isn't that the beauty of a reality such as ours, where we live in a reality that is coherent? What that means is that things that make sense together stick together, right? Like attracts like. It's a creative, generative reality. So every thought, every ripple, every glance, every idea, every blink really does create something. And some of those creations we experience firsthand in real time, and we go, oh, that's what I made. That's what I chose. That's what I brought to my doorstep. And some of those things we may never experience. Some of those things we may never have a firsthand account of, or we may never know exactly what it is that we have created. We may never know how far throughout all of reality those ripples went and what they created. And it doesn't matter that we don't know. I think that's the most beautiful thing. I think one of the things that I have discovered on this path of the past 12 years, and just life in general, especially when we come to a sense of faith and trust in ourself and all that we are, when we come to an understanding and a trust with the universe, God, creator, spirit, whatever you call that divine infinite intelligence. When I trust myself, I trust spirit. When I trust spirit, it teaches me how to trust myself, and vice versa. When I learn how to trust myself, it teaches me how to trust others. And the deeper my trust, the deeper my understanding that all is well, all of it is for me, all of it is from me. The details of what happened and what did we create and when is it going to get here and what is it going to look like, and all of the who, what, where, when, why, how questions, they mean less and less. What I have finally, I think, begun to learn on this journey, and this is one of the lessons in Notes from the Higher Self, my book on Amazon. Thank you, by the way, for those of you who have been purchasing it. Thank you for those of you who have reviewed your purchases. It really does help move my book to the top of the pile. I don't know how many millions and millions and millions of books there are on Amazon. But years ago, and this was in the early stages of my spiritual awakening, before I knew what was happening. This was before the mind-blowing crescendo in 2012. This was, I don't know, maybe 2000, early 2000s. And I had a mentor. I don't remember where I got this. It came from somebody who was very, very wise and very important in my life. But for the life of me, I cannot remember their name. I can't even remember what they look like. All I remember is this message that they gave me, which was delete the need to know. And I thought, what does that mean? Like, delete the need to know. And for years, it reverberated in my mind and in my body. Like, that was a message that was directly for me, from me. That's what I know, is the things that reverberate in our beingness, in our field, in our awareness. They have value and they have meaning to us in some way. But this person told me, delete the need to know. And I understood the gist of it, right? That the gist was, Like, stop exhausting yourself trying to figure things out. An intellectual understanding you may, experience a sense of accomplishment or a sense of achievement for having, connected the dots, but it doesn't necessarily change things. It doesn't necessarily make your life easier. It doesn't necessarily make your life better. Knowledge is many things, but it's not always an answer. And so living this question of what does that mean, delete the need to know? And then later on down the line, I had another spiritual mentor. I see in hindsight how the path was absolutely lined up for me. And all along the way, I had placed these individuals to remind me, to give me little nuggets, to give me a piece of the puzzle, to give me a seed that I would just stick in my pouch and, at some point later down the line would rediscover it and go, oh gosh, yeah, there's that thing. So later on down the line, I had another mentor who told me, and this was the same thing. And I remember this woman's name. Her name was Aba. And I remember the context through which she was helping me and working with me. She was one of the first people to consciously, actively, and deliberately help me work with my spiritual gifts. She knew I had gifts before I did. And she told me, expect what you find. She said, the key to life, the key to not being disappointed, the key to freedom from this mental construct of entitlement and expectation and disappointment when things don't go the way the mind wants it to. She said, just expect what you find. She said, it's not about a lack of boundaries. It's not about a lack of preferences. It's about understanding what your boundaries and your preferences are and keeping them active and keeping them, central to your experience. And you also have to be equally as willing to just accept that what you expect and what you need and what you want may not always be there. And when you know what you need and what you want and it's not there, it makes it a lot easier to go, oh, this isn't for me. So, what I know is I don't need to know. What I know is the construct of memory is only for the human, so that the human can continue this experience in a linear fashion. But the truth is, you can tap into any level of awareness at any time. It just requires an understanding of what you are and what it is that you're connecting with. But when I trust myself and when I know who and what I am, and when who and what I am is defined by my definition, when I am the one who decides, yep, this is how I see myself, this is how I define myself, this is how I present and project myself, then everything else changes. I no longer require the external world to validate what I know. It's nice when they do, when it does, right? It's nice when someone goes, oh my God, that's exactly what happened to me, or that's exactly what I was thinking, or this new series that I'm doing with my friend Shannon, The Doctor and the Healer. What I love about that is that she, as a medical, professional, she's a licensed physician in the state of California. A lot of what she talks about from a physical material perspective, and a lot of what I talk about from an etheric, I guess metaphysical perspective, it's exciting when what I just intuitively know is validated by her or confirmed by her, but I don't need that. I love it when I get it. It's like, oh, yeah, that was cool. Wow. Okay. Another piece of the puzzle falls into place. But I don't need that to happen outside of me to confirm. Does that make sense? So I think that really what it comes down to, and perhaps it's because it's the 30th day and it's the last day of the series, and maybe I'm feeling a bit, oh, I don't know, like I need to impart some wisdom or something as we wrap up this series. But it is so much easier than we allow it to be. When you remember who and what you really are, when you remember and remind yourself in every way that you can that you are never doing it alone, that you are never alone, that even if you were locked in a cave on the top of a mountain in the middle of nowhere and the closest human was millions of miles away, you would still not be alone. So it's just about deciding first, what do you want the fabric of your experience to be woven from? What are the ingredients in your recipe? What are the structures in your architecture? This is what I mean when I talk about the emotional architecture. The only reason you want anything is because of what you think the payoff will be when you get it or experience it. So identify what you want to experience, what you want the payoff to be generally in your life, and put that first. Another way to think of it is if at the end of this year, on December 31st of 2024, if I asked you, hey, give me 5 words, adjectives, feeling, energy, emotional, and experiential words that describe what your life was like this year. Sometimes it's easier to think about it in hindsight. What do you want to say? Do you want to say, oh, well, it was really hard and I struggled and I doubted myself and I gaslighted myself and I fought with a bunch of people online on social media, and you know what I mean? Like, get clear about it, get serious about it, and then refuse to fucking budge. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. What do you want the bulk of your experience to be? In hindsight, fast forward to December 31st of 2024. And if I were to come up to you magically on New Year's Eve and say, hey, tell me in 5 words or less, what was your year like? It was amazing. It was liberating. It was fulfilling. I saw dreams that I had been holding on for decades finally come true. I met people who challenged me in the best possible ways to bring the best version of myself to the table. I connected with groups of individuals who hold the same values and the same ideas and the same dreams. I found parts of myself that I had forgotten about. I found parts of myself that I thought were long gone. I realized and reclaimed dreams that I hadn't thought about in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. That's the kind of life that I am moving towards. That's the kind of life that I am manifesting. And someone had asked at some point, hey, can you talk about manifestation? And I think manifestation is probably one of the most misunderstood concepts in our reality. And I think ultimately what it comes down to is you have to become the version of yourself that can allow and accept and sustain the dream of life that you have. That's what manifestation is. When what is in here matches what is out here, and how do you ensure that what is out here matches in here? You are allegiant to this. You are focused on this. You are dedicated to this. You are devoted to this. You focus on this. And when this doesn't match this, you are allegiant to this. You see this as a side effect, or it has a lag, or that's a wonky echo, or somehow in the translation, it got lost. So I'm not going to this, come back to this, come back to this, come back to this. And when and only when what is vibrating out here matches what is vibrating out here, that's when it manifests into your reality. The truth is, it already exists. This is the quandary, this is the conundrum and the paradox of manifestation, is that you would not be having the desire or the thought about it unless it already existed on some level. So the dream, the desire, the hope, the wish that you have already exists. And you have to stop using the current absence of it in your physical reality as evidence that it is not here yet. You have to believe well beyond what you see, and you have to begin and end with how you feel. When you say a prayer, when you do a spell, when you do a ritual, when you do a working, when you do a crystal grid, when you do a mantra, when you do a vision board, when you do whatever it is that you are doing, beseeching the heavens, beseeching God, beseeching spirit, beseeching yourself, beseeching the angels, the loved ones, the ancestors, the whoever's, when you are beseeching them for something, basically all you are doing is committing to becoming the version of yourself that can have and sustain what you are asking for. Magic doesn't recreate the world, magic recreates you. Then, when you are recreated, when you allow yourself to move into a bandwidth of frequency, that is where the reality you prefer can physically manifest, that's when it shows up. When you are praying, you are simply asking to be reformed and reshaped and reminded of who and what you already are. So, more than anything, manifestation is just a mind game. More than anything, manifestation is just a mind game. It's only invisible because you think it doesn't exist. It's only invisible because you think you can't see it. It's only invisible and you're not finding it because you think you have to work hard or do something. I mean, we have it backwards. We have it backwards. It's about creating a space within yourself and then within the external reality for it to arrive. That's it. And there's a million different ways you can get there. You can get there through slow, deliberate work day by day. That's the scenic route, right? That's the long version. That's the version I've personally been taking. I don't know why, but more and more, I think it's so that I can share with other people the process. And once I get out of my way, and once I allow belief systems to collapse when they want to collapse, and once I allow identities to dissolve or, shift or change or morph or disappear altogether, that's when it is revealed to me. So you can take the long route, you can take the quantum route, those sudden moments of like bzz, where you're just fried and everything opens up and you see clearly. So there's a million different ways that you can manifest something. But ultimately, the only thing that's happening is you are now a frequency match to it. That's it. That's it. And then once you're a match to it, you take the action that you're inspired to take. There's this little story that I love to tell about, the Italian nonna goes down to the square, the village square every day, and she prays to the Saint whoever, Bob, Saint Bob. Hey, Saint Bob, please let me win the lottery. I want nothing more than to have that wealth before I die. Please, bless an old woman. Let me win the lottery. She does this every day for several years. Finally, in a moment, after like 2 or 3 years, she hasn't won the lottery. She's so like beside herself, so twisted and so like worked up and like, what have I not done? Why isn't St. Bob giving me what I asked? I'm a good girl. I go to church. I say my prayers. I leave bread out for the birds or whatever. She think like, come on, why? And she goes to the square one more time. She says, please, St. Bob, what do I have to do to get you to win, help me win the lottery? What is it going to take? Please, I need the money. Let me win the lottery. St. Bob leans down to her and he says, my dear, would you please go buy a lottery ticket? That's the thing. That's the thing. At some point, you're going to have to take action. At some point, you're going to have to do something. Even if it's Amazon showing up to deliver your package, you're going to have to get up off the fucking couch and open the door. So, at a minimum, you at least have to answer the door. So, it's a combination. It's a combination, and it begins and ends with your frequency, your belief system, and your definitions. If you don't find yourself, if it's not adding up and it's not making sense, the first place I would look is, what do I define abundance as? What do I define joy as, happiness as, freedom as? So you decide for yourself what those definitions are. Because if it's not happening in the way that you want it to, that shows you, okay, maybe there's something in here that's a little bit wonky. And if nothing in here is wonky, then it's my ability to sustain it that becomes wonky. I think I see this all of the time. We get so close and then we look around in our physical environment and go, well, it's not here yet. I must have messed up. I must have gotten it wrong. Fuck all this spiritual shit, whatever. And then we just give up. But you just have to become the version of yourself that can sustain that, whatever that is. That really, to me, is the recipe for manifestation, is understanding that it already exists and understanding that all you have to do to let it in is just find the frequency of it. And if you don't know what the frequency of it is, dive deeper. If you say, well, Amar, I want a car. Okay, cool. You don't want the car. I'll remind you again, you don't want the car because you want the car. You want the car because of what? It represents freedom. It represents choice. It represents success. It represents power. It represents convenience, represents authority. So focus on why you want it. Focus on the feeling that you believe getting it will open up within you. And then do everything you can to activate that state of being first. Like I was saying to a client yesterday, we so often get it backwards. And we think that believing is seeing, or seeing is believing, but really believing is seeing. And it's like basically the equivalent of saying, "Okay, God, I'll work out once you give me pecs. Once you give me a big chest, big shoulders, and strong arms, then I'll start going to the gym." That's not how it works. You decide what you want, i.e., a different body, better body, healthier body, leaner body, bulkier body, whatever your desire is. Why do I want it? Because I feel sexy. I feel good in these clothes. I feel good in my body. I feel comfortable. I feel strong. I feel flexible. I'm healthy. That makes me feel good when I know that I'm healthy. Find that feeling and then do it for those reasons. And just like consistency and dedication on your feeling state and your being state, consistency and dedication in the gym get you what you want. Consistency and dedication in the inner landscape get you what you want. Yeah, Aaron, I agree. Act like you already have it. This is what I've been doing. I'm here still at my sister and brother-in-law's house in Colorado. I know that the end is coming soon because they're still, considering when and how to put their house on the market. I don't know where I'm going next. I don't have any concrete details yet. But what is a person who's moving do? They pack. So that's what I've been doing. Pack a box here and there, organize my stuff, throw away things that I don't want or need anymore, not hanging on to it, right? So that's how I begin to activate that state. Well, if I'm moving, even though I currently have zero idea of how and when and where, okay, it doesn't matter. I still know it's happening. So I'll go pack. Now I'm in the state of one who is moving. Now I'm in the state of one who is preparing to move. Now I'm acting and behaving as one who is moving would act and behave. It's really that easy. But we've been duped. We don't believe it. We think we messed it up. Or we think that it's, I just push a button on my phone and it shows up. It does from Amazon or, Uber Eats or whatever. But in terms of manifestation into your reality, you just have to become the frequency. And that's it. It's deceptively simple. It's pretty simple, but simple isn't always easy. So I don't know how or where or when or if what the WTF will continue to live. I love the idea of just showing up and just being able to be. So who knows how that will manifest. I do have that new series, The Doctor and the Healer. The first four part, we have one episode we recorded. It's a 4-part episode because I wanted to keep it really short. I posted the first one yesterday. The second one launches today after 11 o'clock. So in just about 45 minutes, an hour. And then there's two more parts of that episode to come. Saturday is going to be the tarot forecast for the month. A little bit late, but that's all right. And I think that's it. Oh, the Pleiadian Light Circle, not this coming Sunday, but the next Sunday, only $12 if you're looking for channeled healing and messages from this Pleiadian group, the trio I've been hanging out with. And I'm here and I'm around and I'm available. And I also know that this 30 days has served its purpose. I felt that a few days ago. Of like the click of like, oh, whatever it is that we needed to do, we did. So I feel content in that. And that's enough for me to know that I can wrap this series up. And certainly there might be a sense of like, oh gosh, I really miss hanging out with you guys. And I will. And also there's other stuff to do. There's other things to that want to happen. And I'm not going anywhere. What I would recommend is follow me on Instagram because I'm on there sometimes. If you want more content, sign up for my newsletter. If you just want to stay connected to everything and anything that I'm doing, because that's really where I share it all. YouTube, obviously, I share here on the community tab from time to time, my newsletters and my events. You can also follow me on Eventbrite. There's a way that you can follow people, and I have a profile there. I tried Discord. If y'all want to do it, go for it. If y'all want to create an Amar community, you have my blessing. I just can't say that I'm going to be a part of it regularly because there's so many other things that are exciting and wonderful for me to do right now. And just sitting in front of a laptop, it doesn't feed me in the way that, these other things do. But I'm here. I love you. I'm with you. Like, share, and subscribe. Remix the fuck out of my shit and make shorts and plaster them everywhere. And I think that's the perfect place to leave it. It's not a goodbye. It's just to see you soon, see you later, see you somewhere else. and we'll still be connected. But I know that we got what we needed for this 30 days. And so now it's just the joy of figuring out what that is. And if I never figure it out, I don't care. It's the joy of the exploration. It's the joy of the adventure. It's the joy of getting to do what I want to do when I want to do it. That to me is abundance. I like Bashar's definition, the ability to do what I need to do when I need to do it. I also like Jerry and Esther from Abraham Hicks. I like Jerry's definition of abundance, as much money as I can spend. So I'll take both of those. Love you all. Have a fabulous, fabulous day. I'll still be around. This isn't goodbye. Love you. Have a great day. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. This has been wonderful. It really, really has been beautiful. And I have you to thank for that. So thank you. Bye, everyone. See you soon.